Workforce capacity is a significant issue. You just heard about how we don't have enough in this space. Well, workforce capacity along all spectrum is very challenging right now. And training and upskilling is a significant part of how we get over this. So next up, to take us on this journey of where we are on training and upskilling is Maria Heidcamp from New Jersey Council of Community Colleges. Maria, come on up.
As you probably know, Netflix and the film industry are making their way to New Jersey, with demands for new workforce and education and training close behind. Are we ready for our close-up? As a movie aficionado, I thought I'd get in the spirit today by starting with a quote from one of my favorite movies, Toy Story. Yes, it's an animated kids movie, but the quote seems to capture for me the essence of what's been going on in the labor market and the education and workforce training space. The terrain seems a bit unstable. For those without total recall of the movie, it's the scene when Buzz Lightyear believes he has crash-landed on a planet and been awoken from hypersleep, not unlike some of what we have collectively been going through in this post-pandemic or COVID-endemic phase. It's followed almost immediately by Buzz's observation that there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere. Well, I think there are plenty of signs of intelligent life, including in a room full and a Zoom room full of business leaders who are dedicating a Friday to studying a host of important topics critical to their future. But Buzz is right that the terrain is a bit unstable as regards the labor market and the topic of workforce training and upskilling. In fact, Buzz may not have gone far enough. As an only slightly less animated icon, Betty Davis might have said, "Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night." When I'm not watching old and animated movies, I'm a labor market podcast junkie. If unprecedented was the buzzword of the early phase of the pandemic, confusing is what I hear most often these days. The labor market is incredibly tight, with historically low unemployment rates, but close to 1 in 5 of the unemployed have been out of work 6 months or more. 4.1 million workers are underemployed or working part-time, but would prefer full-time work. The labor force participation rate has remained low, which means there are people we could or should be able to lure back to the workplace. And whether it's due to childcare issues or people holding out for better or remote jobs, it's confusing. Women have mostly come back, but there are far too many prime-age men, mostly without college degrees, who are on the sidelines. For the record, the unemployment rate rose today. We got the new numbers for February, but it was for the good reason, because 419,000 people entered the labor market in February. But all that said, it's very confusing. At the same time, people have begun to question how, when, where people should get education and workforce training. A book that several of us in the office are currently reading, The Great Upheaval, Higher Education's Past, Present, and Uncertain Future, highlights some of the major changes that are disrupting the world of higher ed. The global digital knowledge economy means K-12 isn't enough. New Jersey's economy is evolving toward higher value-added, higher education industries. All New Jerseyans will need some post-secondary education beyond K-12. Technology, AI, VR, AR, robotics will continue to change how we live, work, and learn. Who hasn't tried ChatGPT yet? It's fun, and it's there. What will attending a metaversity be like? I listened to a podcast on immersive learning, and it was a fascinating story of how remote students are gathering around a cadaver in a biolab or studying evolution in the Galapagos Islands. At Morehouse College, which is a pilot metaversity site, there's a professor who's teaching a fantasy literature class in a Hogwarts-style school called Mistvale College. So the early data has found that students prefer learning in a 3D VR classroom and end up with better grades. Of course, these same technologies will change the workplace, and many current workers, myself included, will need some upskilling to learn how to work side by side with AI and smart robots. Yet, while we know we need more post-secondary education, people are questioning the value of college degrees. And some employers, Netflix among them, as well as the state governments in Maryland and Pennsylvania, have begun to drop degree requirements. Some of this is tied to making a more equitable labor market, because there may be people who didn't have access to post-secondary education, but still have the skills and competencies required to do a job. That means we need to do more to understand how to do skills-based hiring and competency-based hiring. That all said, there's still lots of evidence of the return on investment for college degrees. My former colleagues at the Heldrick Center recently put out a new research study looking at the ROI for degrees in New Jersey, and the evidence is tremendous. Higher tax revenues for federal and state governments, increased economic and social mobility for individuals and families. Of course, there are still persistent economic and educational inequalities and legitimate concerns about cost and student debt. Another disruptor, short-term credentials are on the rise. These can give students more choice and enable quicker, just-in-time access to new skills that may make them attractive to employers. But traditional financial aid is often not available, and verifying the quality of thousands of new credentials is extremely difficult. Yet, just like we choose what track on an album we're going to listen to or which news item from our digital paper we're going to read, student consumers will increasingly demand the ability to do the same with their education and training, seeking anytime, any place, unbundled or bundled options from a range of providers, including but also beyond traditional higher education institutions. There will be a place still for 2- and 4-year degrees, but this won't be the only way students consume education. And then there's demographic changes, right? We know there are fewer high school age students coming our way and more older working and lifelong learners, which means we have to focus on designing workforce training and upskilling with adults in mind. Bottom line, business as usual is not going to work. Put another way, Houston, we've got a problem. Given these disruptive forces, New Jersey needs to rethink how, when, and where it educates and trains its current and future workforce. And community colleges are uniquely situated to help lead and partner in this task. A recent Harvard study lamented the lack of coordination between community colleges and employers. What we've got here is failure to communicate. Yet part of the reason I joined the council is because I believe the work the council and its workforce consortium are doing on industry-focused pathways is bucking the trends cited by Harvard. In their first year, the Pathways team, together with BIA, has drawn together some 1,200 partners in deeper and more innovative collaborations than I believe have ever been done in New Jersey before. I know from the research that workforce training programs that work best are the ones where there are close sectoral partnerships and ones that involve work-based learning. Pathways is building on these kinds of opportunities. Pathways, can I ask how many people have, if anybody in here, been involved with the Pathways collaboratives? Okay. So a couple, thank you, good to know. So Pathways unites industry and education experts through collaboratives in the state's 4 fastest growing industries: health services, technology and innovation, infrastructure and energy, and manufacturing and supply chain management. Each collaborative convenes industry leadership teams of executive-level business, industry association, and labor union leaders who meet quarterly to discuss real-world, real-time changing workforce needs. The collaboratives also create broad and inclusive statewide education ecosystems of community colleges, high schools, VOTECs, workforce boards, unions, private career schools, community-based training providers, and other stakeholders in each industry. Every month, the education ecosystem and the industry partners meet to share labor market intelligence and education and workforce training solutions. But wait, there's more. Across the 4 industries, there are 10 centers of workforce innovation. For example, in healthcare, there's one for patient care and one for healthcare technology and administration. These centers of workforce innovation are each led by 2 to 6 community colleges in partnership with other educators. They're not physical, but rather virtual centers, and to date, they have built 22 career pathways, including high school, college, and workplace training and upskilling. The Pathways Initiative understands that not everyone has a straight path from school to career, and that given changes in technology, people are going to need on and off ramps to more education and training. I will walk through an example. The Center of Workforce Innovation for Renewable Energy has selected wind energy as an important pathway with tremendous job growth. The wind energy pathway builds upon associate's and bachelor degree programs under development currently by Rowan College of South Jersey and Rowan University. To connect to high school students, the team has developed project awareness experiences that utilize games and simulations related to electricity generated via wind turbines. There's also a Renewable Energy Principles dual enrollment course available. For community colleges, they developed an Exploration in Wind Energy Careers workshop. In terms of work-based learning, they're developing wind turbine technician pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs. And those who complete the apprenticeship programs will be awarded 15 college credits that stack to an academic certificate or an associate's degree. To help students get credit for industry-valued credentials, the STEM faculty at Atlantic Cape Community College has identified 3 college credits for the Global Wind Organization Basic Safety Training with Sea Survival program. These credits are also stackable. So while I'm new to the council, I know it's been a bit of a hard day's night to get community colleges and the myriad of employers, unions, 4-year colleges, and others all rowing in the same direction. With all these partners, as Chief Brody said in Jaws, I think we're going to need a bigger boat. But it's clear this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And we welcome any employers here today who want to be part of Pathways Solutions. We have other amazing examples of work going on in collaboration with the council, the 18 colleges, and employers. We are currently working with 3 healthcare employers, Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas, Hackensack Meridian, and Cooper, to raise awareness of the Community College Opportunity Grant, CCOG, and to encourage their low-wage and entry-level workers to consider attending college while they're working, which if they qualify for CCOG, or CCOG, they may be able to do for free. Employers who want to learn more about this should feel free to email me. We're also working with the Office of the Secretary of Higher Education, OSHI, and the Department of Labor on a range of initiatives, one geared toward trying to re-engage adults with some college credit but no degree, another to improve the capacity of stakeholders in New Jersey to do registered apprenticeships, including employers. OSHI is getting ready to announce an expanded Career Accelerator internship program, and we hope to work with NJBIA to promote this with the colleges and employers. At the council, we have a dream that every community college student in New Jersey who wants a high-quality paid summer internship can have one. Any employers today who want to help us make that happen should also feel free to email me. So in conclusion, the community colleges are ready to work with New Jersey's employers and to support students and working learners through Pathways and other initiatives. I believe we really are ready for our close-up. Thank you.